I started at Abiding Hope 4 years ago. It was during COVID. And we were unhappy with our previous church. That kind of all started with the death of our older son. Mark was, so he had leukemia and he was really little. And so was the chemo that kind of caused all the learning disabilities. Things kept getting progressively worse. So he moved out of the home into a group home. That would have been in 2008. And then he passed in 2017. And when we were reflecting on the way the funeral went, we weren't happy with the way the funeral went. But I still needed a church home.
One of the things about the lockdown during the pandemic was I was doing some genealogy and we started assessing, we looked back on Mark's funeral and all of our struggles with Mark. And I got to the point where I just didn't really care for organized religion. I kind of turned against organized religion. And Joan at the time said, well, I need a church home. And I said, okay, that's fine. I really don't, because I'm just totally against organized religion.
And then I realized that Abiding Hope was online. So that got me started. And I got to where I just really looked forward to the services online. But I noticed that Jim would kind of listen to once in a while, and I did turn up the volume so Jim could listen as well.
I just stayed back, and because Joan is a much more spiritual person than I am. I was never very spiritual, and so she turned up the volume a little bit, and I really enjoyed a lot of the music, and I started watching the videos I thought were really outstanding.
I liked the pastor's messages, all of them. It didn't matter who was preaching. I liked all of the messages. And it kind of gave us hope in a kind of a dark time. And even though some of the messages were really positive, some of them were absolutely dealing with the times and being supportive. Shortly after that time, our daughter-in-law was sick, and I was asking all of the staff at Abiding Hope for support for me not to open my mouth too much. So the staff was so supportive, and they prayed powerful prayers, because the conversations I had, they were wonderful, and it was just a really warm, good time, as good as it can be. So they do. The staff, I'm telling you, they know how to pray.
When I started going with Joan, attending in person, I really liked the message that Abiding Hope was giving, and especially the message that the gifts of God are free. Because during Mark's funeral, some of my cousins, since they weren't Catholic, they could not get Eucharist. And I thought, well, yeah, you shouldn't hold Jesus back from anybody.
I think what fills me up with Abiding Hope is that you can go in anytime and there is somebody that's going to be there to welcome you. The people are just truly caring. They care what happened to you yesterday. They're going to care what happens to you tomorrow. And they always want to know what they can do to help.
I actually feel like I'm a part of it instead of just going to do my duty. Because every service starts out with, we're so thankful that you're here. We're glad you're here.
Other people have said, oh, you're a great, and your story is great. And it's like, well, yeah, but Abiding Hope is the one who helps give your story some oomph to it. And it's easy to have a good story when you've got Abiding Hope supporting you all the way.